story of the great god Pan is basically a blasphemous retelling of the Nativity by giving the story of the birth of the Antichrist. As far as the original story is concerned, that's what its goal was. We try to do something a little different here by giving a few different perspectives on the story.
He sent me the score and I took a look through it, and I really thought the story was really interesting and something that, you know, with his vision of it combining different like art forms with the shadow puppetry and everything, it seemed like a really cool project. In the recording that we did, I sang 2 different excerpts from 2 different characters. The solo piece I did was Rachel, who is one of the people who dies and then becomes part of the ghost chorus. And then I also sang a duet, and that character was Austin. And I sang the duet with the other character's name was Villiers, and they're kind of like a detective team, but more like Watson and Holmes, where Watson's not really a detective. So Austin is the sidekick, but not really a detective.
It said to the great God known as God of the great abyss, Flavius in Aries made this favor to exalt the merit which we so beneath the
The music was interesting. I never had sung with prepared piano before, and so that was my first time hearing that. And Rachel's piece was almost was exclusively with the prepared piano, so that was just a really interesting experience, keeping my bearings when the prepared piano is going all over the place and having to stay in my key. And also just, you know, collaborating, learning new music. A lot of times I like to listen to recordings beforehand, and when you're making the first recording, you don't have something to listen to. So it does take me a little bit longer to learn new music excerpts, but I really like the challenge. You can't get bored when you're like constantly trying to create something like that.
It went from me performing my own pieces all the time to letting others perform those pieces. And there's something really exciting for me to create something and watch someone else give their interpretation and their translation of it. There's just something very incredibly cool about that I never understood until like this last year. So I love the fact that I can create now, and I can sing once in a while, but composing is my thing. Creating these stories, creating this music is just something that has hit me so hard, and I just love it with my whole being. Collaboration is just an amazing gift. To work with these amazing, giving, very open-minded team of people it's a blessing. It's definitely a blessing, and I'm very blessed to have had a lot of these people believe not only in just what I do, but believe in the project and believe that this can come to fruition.
I do like Ross a lot. I know he's in the room, so I have to be careful. No, I'm just kidding. But like working with Ross is great. He creates his music and then he gives it to the singers and lets them make it their own. You know, he has a specific thing in mind, but then allows a lot of room for creativity and really to grow in the piece. And that to me is a very special experience.
I definitely love to see a full production of it. And my ideal production of it is to have it done full stage with the shadow puppetry and steampunk art design and costuming. I think would be incredible too, especially because steampunk is very much a Victorian inspired. In the story of the Great God Pan, there's this whole underlying tension, sometimes just vibration. So I think the shadow puppetry will give us an idea of the form of what those characters in those places are. But I also think that it will lend a lot of mystery still, because we're not going to see faces, we're not going to see texture and color. We only see the ghost of what is there behind that screen. I want people to walk away saying, our views of women, have they progressed any further than they have back then? It gives a little cause for alarm that some people still see it the same way that some of these male characters do in the book. And I thought that turning Austin, who is originally a male character in the book, into a female was a very different perspective on the story as well, as far as these women who dressed as men for various reasons did exist in the Victorian era and are not very much talked about. And we still approach things like the LGBTQ community, particularly transgender, as if this is a new thing. This isn't a new thing. This has been going on documented for at least a couple centuries, and we don't address that issue. And I thought having Austin as this female character who dresses as a man was going to be, I think it was going to be truer to the story. I think it's going to be truer to the time, and again bring another question up in the opera. As if this is okay. Should women have had to do this in order to gain status? Should women have to have done this in order to gain some kind of higher class, to be part of a higher society, to be seen as more powerful? I don't think we should have to do that, but unfortunately that's the truth, and that we have had to do that. So I think Austin's will be very representative of more than one class of people in this opera. The possibilities are endless for what is going to happen in the future here, and I think there's going to be more opportunities for performers and for composers to create very unique and different forms of work and multimedia, and I think it's really exciting. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what the future is going to bring us.